Hello everyone and welcome once again. In this video, we are going to continue with the chapter The Adventures of Toto written by Ruskin Bond. Now before we begin the class today, let's have a quick recapitulation of what we did in the previous video. The narrator's grandfather didn't worry about what the grandmother would think and react. He was perhaps pleased with Toto's performance. He felt that Toto was very clever. He said that if they would have given him more time, he would have tied the thin pieces of the writer's torn blazer into a rope and would have escaped out of the window. Toto was still a secret and was shifted to the servant quarter. He was put in a big cage. He began living with the other pets in the grandfather's zoo. Toto did not let any of the companion, that is, the animals, sleep at night as he was very mischievous. The grandfather had to leave for Saharanpur the next day, and he therefore decided to take Toto along as he was uncontrollable. The narrator unfortunately could not accompany his grandfather. Later, his grandfather narrated everything of the trip to him. A big black canvas kit bag was provided for Toto. With some straw at the bottom, it became his new dwelling. When the bag was closed, there was no way to escape from it. He could neither come out of the opening nor could he bite the strong canvas in order to escape. Still, Toto made futile attempts to come out of the bag. Due to such protection, he could only roll with the bag on the floor or it would occasionally jump in the air. These suspicious movements were noticed by the people on the railway platform and made them curious to know what was there inside the bag. At Saharanpur railway station, the grandfather was taking out his ticket to cross the turnstile. At that time, Toto popped out of the bag and grinned at the ticket collector. The grandfather failed in convincing the ticket collector that Toto was a monkey and not a dog. He insisted that Toto was not even a quadruped, that is, an animal with 4 feet. The grandfather had to pay 3 rupees for Toto's ticket. The grandfather was disappointed, and to avenge the ticket collector, he took out his pet tortoise from his pocket and asked if he had to buy a ticket for it too, since he had charged for all animals. So let's begin today's class now. The ticket collector looked closely at the tortoise, prodded it with his forefinger, gave grandfather a pleased and triumphant look, and said, "No charge, it's not a dog." When Toto was finally accepted by grandmother, he was given a comfortable home in the stable where he had for a companion the family donkey, Nana. On Toto's first night in the stable, grandfather paid him a visit to see if he was comfortable. To his surprise, he found Nana without apparent cause pulling at her halter and trying to keep her head as far as possible from a bundle of hay. Grandfather gave Nana a slap across the haunches, and she jerked back, dragging Toto with her. He had fastened on to her long ears with his sharp little teeth. Toto and Nana never became friends. A great treat for Toto during cold winter evenings was the large bowl of warm water given him by grandmother for his bath. He would cunningly test the temperature with his hand, then gradually step into the bath. First one foot, then the other, as he had seen me doing, until he was into the water up to his neck. Well, so the ticket collector had a close look at the tortoise, pressed it with his forefinger slightly, and announced that he did not require to pay a ticket for it as it did not fall in the category of a dog. The narrator's grandmother ultimately came to know of Toto's presence in the house. She allotted him space in the stable along with the family donkey Nana. First night in the stable, grandfather visited Toto. He found Nana restless, pulling its rope in order to stay away from the mass of hay. Grandfather hit Nana on the back in order to stop it. Nana jumped back with a jerk, and Toto was dragged along with her. During winter season, Toto enjoyed having warm bath. He would cleverly and cunningly test the water temperature before starting his bath, just like the narrator did. He would follow the narrator and step into the tub, and 1 foot at a time. Finally, he would get into the water until he was up to his neck. So now back to the text. Once comfortable, he would take the soap in his hands or feet and rub himself all over. When the water became cold, he would get out and run as quickly as he could to the kitchen fire in order to dry himself. If anyone laughed at him during his performance, Toto's feelings would be hurt and he would refuse to go on with his bath. One day, Toto nearly succeeded in boiling himself alive. A large kitchen kettle had been left on the fire to boil for tea, and Toto, finding himself with nothing better to do, decided to remove the lid. Finding the water just warm enough to bath or for a bath, he got in. With his head sticking out from the open kettle, this was just fine for a while until the water began to boil. Then Toto raised himself a little, but finding it cold outside, sat down again. He continued hopping up and down for some time until the grandmother arrived and hauled him, half boiled, out of the kettle. So it says, once he found himself comfortable, he would rub himself with soap. When the water became cold, he would come out of it and run at the stove in the kitchen in order to dry himself. Toto got irritated. If he was laughed upon, he would get hurt, and then he would refuse to take bath. The narrator recollects an incident when Toto had almost boiled himself alive. Water was boiling in a large kettle on the stove. Toto climbed up to the stove and removed the lid from it. He felt that the water was warm enough for him to take a bath. He entered the kettle with his head out of it. When the water started boiling, it became unbearable for him. He thought of coming out of the kettle, but was the temperature outside was cold for him, he stayed in it. For a while, Toto continued hopping up and down with an effort to come out of the kettle. It was when the grandmother of the narrator arrives and hauled him out and saved his life. Well, it's time for the new words that we have come across in the text so far. The first word is prodded. It means pushed. Next word is stable, meaning building set apart and adapted for keeping horses. Next word is halter, which means a strap or loop placed around the head of a horse or any other animal. The next word is haunches, which simply means back, perhaps the back of a horse or a bull, whatever, or a donkey. And the last word is hauled him, which means pulled him out. All right, the monkey was being in deep trouble. He was in deep trouble inside the boiling water, so he was hauled out. That means he was pulled out by the grandmother. Well, that's all in this video. I hope you have understood the text that we have discussed so far. In the next video, we shall continue with the text and wind up. Thank you for watching, and please do not forget to subscribe the channel and ring the notification bell for more videos. Thank you.